Good afternoon there, wrestling fans! And welcome to Dudes at Ringside Podcast, because we're the internationally known. And now, introducing to the mic, my co-host, the late but bloomin' happy heel himself, pretty old today, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside crew? What's going on, everyone? Joe.
What's going on? What's wrong, Geek?
Looks like it's a storm's coming. Doesn't it look like it outside?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
A storm might be.
Okay, let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome straight out of Scotland herself, Rayhne.
Hello, I'm bringing the weather from here over to you guys.
Of course.
Yeah, it looks like it's raining outside right now.
Oh, geez.
Did you do this?
You brought the rain.
I can't help it. I'm always in character. What can I say?
Can you say? Well, welcome to the lovely, fun world of the Dudes at Ringside podcast. Well, we are fans of the Ringside crew while we sit and drink our beers and eat our popcorn and pizza, and they all do the work for us.
It's the best way to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So we watched your matches. One of my favorite matches you've done we watched was the triple threat match you had. You kept running out the ring. Oh my god, that match. I was like, she's
being a heel right there. A total heel, 80s heel.
She's a heel.
The actual funny story about that match is, do you know when people, I don't know if it happens over there a lot, but here a lot of people seem to think they kind of had COVID before COVID became a big thing.
Yeah.
The day of that match, I was really sick. Like, I kept coughing. I could not stand. Backstage, I was literally lying on a chair with a blanket over me. I couldn't walk, couldn't stand, couldn't eat, couldn't do anything. And then I went out and did that match for half an hour, came back, and I went back to collapsing and couldn't stand again.
Wow. Your adrenaline hit you then. Totally must have been adrenaline, because I would have been, you would have been slapping me around backstage. You wussy, Joe, you wussy, stand up, man. I can stand, you could stand.
Yeah, and the girls try to get you in the ring, and then you're like, nah, I'm good on the outside for now.
Nah, I'm too out for this. I went to, but I think it was a mistake being outside the ring though, because the fans at Perth were kind of mean and hit me a lot, so I didn't enjoy that.
Oh, you were in Paris?
No, in Perth. Sorry, it's nothing like Paris. I trust you. The name sounds fancy. It's terrible. It's awful. Let's just put it that way.
I was thinking you were in Paris. I was like, that's kind of cool. That's another area we need to get involved and try to get. We've been getting a lot of wrestlers, Rayhne, from like different countries. Like we have Ireland, Scotland,
Canada.
We need to invade Ireland, because we haven't found any wrestlers from Ireland yet. We got a lot of
New Zealand. We haven't gotten either. So
well, you might be in luck. Depending on how good you guys are, there could be a couple people I could put forward after this one.
Yeah.
The wrestlers seem to love us, because we don't just talk about wrestling. We talk about food. We talk about a lot of
movies, everything.
Movies, things you collect, pets you have. You know what I mean? Like ring stories. You know, we love the talk. Our conversation goes everywhere. Even with sports, we go.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours, and then we get Lance. You forgot the umbrella.
I'm getting rained on right now.
So absolutely disappointing. How can you forget the umbrella? God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, have you been wrestling since COVID's been going on, or have you just been training?
Unfortunately, at this point, neither. My last show was meant to be the day that lockdown hit here, so I was very disappointed in that. Obviously, now I can go to the gym and stuff. Gyms have opened back up, but we still do not have sort of contact training yet. So obviously we can do our cardio, but we are not able to like have matches. But thankfully next week I am going to the first all women's training session with Lana Austin at Future Shock Performance Centre. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
That's cool.
I also watched one of your matches. You actually wrestled with Holly Dead. That's actually amazing, by the way.
That was my third match, but my first match like out of my own company. And I remember getting there, I was shaking. I knew nothing. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't even know what character I was getting to play. I get there, and the match gets announced, and the first thing she says to me is like, "Dude, what do you want to do?" Like, we're told a lot that obviously people that are veterans, like they take the lead. You kind of nod, let them lead. And every single time she was like, "No, but what do you want to do? What do you want to hit? Like, what do you want to do?" And I was just like, "I don't know. This is my first time doing this." And taking her finisher was the first time I ever took that as well.
Mm.
It's like a pedigree, right?
Scary, being upside down and I just falling flat on my face.
Oh,
Oof.
God.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the match, Joe, you should go and watch it. You know?
Definitely need to check that out. Yeah. And also, we're thankful for you sending us your clips to put on our Instagram. I was so like, I got worried because you can go on the YouTube channel. I'm like, no, if you have a clip on your phone, like,
yeah,
because we like to do that with Dudes at Ringside. Hey, Alex, that's one of our friends from school, Alex Pinto. He just popped into the chat.
Hi, Alex.
How's it going?
He's a friend from college. He's a big wrestling fan as well as one of our buddies. Like, we like to do that to help you guys get your name out here in America so that people could see what they're doing in Scotland. So fans could, as you know, your YouTube channel gets a lot of people from like India and America. So they more or less, like we always do this. We were just chatting and kind of screwed it up. We're live here with Rayhne, guys, if you didn't realize right now. Explain to us, if fans are not familiar, like explain who you are and like where you're from.
So where I'm from is the place in Britain or Europe that nobody can understand the accent. Let's just go off with that first. I know I speak a bit slower and I try to enunciate, but that's how I would explain Scotland. Nobody can understand you. As for myself, I kind of take all my contributions to my character from my life. So often I do play the bad guy, and I can play the bad guy very well because it's just I can be angry, I can be spiteful, I can be all of those things. I know I'm not the one that would shut up if I see something wrong. So if a fan is wanting to shout at me, I'm not going to be the one to sit there and take it. I'm going to shout back right in your face.
Jeez.
As well as I've never been the pretty girl. I'm always the sort of the best friend that people know. I've never been the one to be picked. And I know that's kind of cliche, but using that and with the experience in wrestling of being told a lot of the time that you have to look pretty to do well, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to push through and do what I do with just simple strength. I don't need flashy moves. I don't need a flashy makeover. I'm going to come out, do exactly what I do, and that's going to be enough to either make you love me or hate me or both. I don't care, but I'm going to be on your mind.
That's awesome. That's a great promo right there. That's great segue right there.
You always that's like, even when you made the thing for our Instagram right there, tell people to watch the show. That perfect. Yeah. So like, what out of all your matches, which one was your favorite so far?
Oh goodness. My favorite so far, and it's a weird one. I think I have two favorites at the moment for different reasons. My first favorite one is against. This is going to change my light here, but I'm just going to look it up before I butcher the name because I'll feel really bad if I do.
your friend will be like, "What?"
Yeah. So the first favourite match is against Lisa Lace. So that was the first time I ever got to work face. And it was also, again, even though I'd already been with Holidead, this was again a big opportunity of a big international star I was getting to wrestle. On that match, I also got to be in a Rumble for the first time. I'd never been in one before. But on that match as well, this is such an X Factor sob story here. But 2 weeks before that match, my ex-boyfriend broke up with me.
Call from Anna Pharmacy.
House phone.
Call from.
Keep going. I'm sorry. I live in my parents' basement. My bad. My super bad.
No, that's fine. So yeah. So 2 weeks before that, I got broken up with my boyfriend, which was sad enough. It was right. I got broken up with, I think, 2 or 3 days before Valentine's Day, but it was also, I think, either the day of or the day before the anniversary of my dad's death as well. So obviously not a great time. To then, before I got to the venue, because he wrestled at the same company, before I got to the venue, I had then found out he cheated on me in the relationship. So as you get, I was there, but I did not want to be there. I felt rubbish. I got to the venue. There was no changing rooms at the venue, so I couldn't get changed. There was nowhere for me to plug in anything to do my hair. There was nowhere to do my makeup. I managed to snag a place in the kitchen that they had there, but without that, I had nothing. And then we managed to. The ring was brand new and everything, so we'd never touched it. And I went out and I felt the best I ever could because I felt so safe. And usually working a different sort of character is kind of scary enough as it is, but I just had fun in that match. Purely just had fun, and you could see it on my face, just smiling the whole time. So it'd kind of be bad if I wasn't face that match because I've just got this grin on the whole time. But for my second one would be against Lizzie. It was Lizzie Styles at the time, but she's changed her name to Lizzie Evo or Evo. Sorry if I've butchered that. She's a big star in Britain, and it was the first time I'd hit certain moves and all the rest, and it was in a big showcase venue, and I think it was about my 5th match, and something messed up at the end, and while you're in the ring, while something's messed up, you're sitting there thinking, and it feels like everything's in slow motion, like, what do I do? How do I fix this? Has anybody noticed? And I fixed it. It was 3 seconds and it was fixed. But to me, that felt like an eternity. But then all the feedback was no, you did really well with that. I wouldn't have thought that. And I was just that was a really good learning experience. It's not nice that things mess up, but it's nice to learn from it and then know what you can do in the future with it.
One of your fans came in and said something. Hold on, pop it up, Geeky.
Well, you know what? They don't count as one of my fans because they couldn't spell my name right.
Oh, so the heel turn right there. Just wants to keep up.
Yeah, CPW is, I believe, if it's the correct one, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the one sort of at the top of Scotland we've got here, which I only managed to wrestle there out of pure luck. Someone had to pull out of a show and I managed to be there. And it was a great experience. The crowd were on fire. All the wrestlers in the back were super nice. And yes, I will definitely be back there. Hopefully, they're going to be opening next year.
That's what you said.
Your head wasn't square. That's not my fault.
We get some interesting people
Comments.
in the chat. Like we have our friend Marauder that likes to get on my case because of a phone ringing or like
He likes to rip on us for something. Like he'll find something and then make a funny comment in the chat.
Yeah. There's always one, no doubt.
Oh, here we go. I have a question for you. Would you if you went to a venue like for a show and they asked you to do a hardcore match, would you do it?
Yes, 100%. I am so sold on this. I know, like, I don't like the term sort of deathmatch sort of thing, because I believe it's the exact opposite. Like, as much as it's hardcore, it's not really like. So there are some instances I don't like the name of it. If they changed the name, I'd be all for it. But yeah, I'm fully up for it. The only thing I kind of don't want to do is thumbtacks, but I would also just to experience it at least once. But when it comes to throwing myself off balconies, chairs, tables, ladders, light tubes, instruments, everything, I am 100% down for that. So if anybody, anywhere, I don't even care where, wants a female for a hardcore death, whatever match you want to call it, sign me up because I will be there.
So there's a lot of people that are not for it. Like I've heard wrestlers. We had a guy from America, one of our former guests. Actually, we're going to see him the 17th in 2 weeks. Geek.
What? Yeah.
We have a guy named Stockade. Oh, that's another. Would you ever wrestle? Like, if you had to do a hardcore match, would you be willing to do it against a man?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
100%.
We have a wrestler that came on our podcast named Stockade, and he does a lot of like hardcore death matches. Mm-hmm. Definitely have to drop your name, see if he would ever want to wrestle you. He's in America.
That's like, I think a lot of the time, especially in my own personal experience, I'm 5'9" and I'm quite a big girl, right? So compared to, I'm taller than all my friends. So if I go on a night out and I wear heels, I'm like a giraffe compared to all my friends. So in life itself, that's kind of put me down a bit. But when it comes to wrestling, it puts me at such an advantage because people that I wrestle against are like 5'4", so they're so tiny. But then I also look like I could compete with men, and it wouldn't stop me anyway if I didn't look like that. But I look like, as long as it made sense, like I'll fight whoever. I don't care. Like I'll wrestle a bin if I have to. I will go out and do that, and I will make that the most entertaining match on your show.
Well, there's somebody who we had on our show recently. His name is Tamaku. He said he doesn't care who he would wrestle. It could be anyone. Man, woman, or child. He'd wrestle everybody.
I don't know if you saw it. Last night was Metal Geek's birthday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he was like, so we were mentioning someone, and then I'm like, I don't care who it is. I'll wrestle everybody. I'll destroy them. I'm like,
well, I guess we'll have to see about that one. We'll have to put that to the test.
Yeah, if you saw Tamaku, you'd be like, I'm not scared of him. He's this tall guy with a monster mask, and he's almost like an 80s heel. Like he's the big monster with throwing and the choke.
He lives on a volcano, has a sundial.
Got mad at me because I said the time, and he's like, it's too dark. I can't see my sundial. It was a hilarious birthday. I wish you could have made it in. You would have had fun with all these wrestlers meeting from different countries.
Mr. Epic was great. Mr. Chad
yeah.
That sounds great, yeah.
It was fun times last night. So we're so glad you're here.
It's like, would you ever wrestle a thumbtack match or a Lego match? What would be your preference there?
I think both are bad as each other. Because here's the thing, right? Thumbtacks are sore, right? Nobody can tell you they're not sore. But the difference is, it's sore when they go in. Once they're in, it's a numbing pain you'll feel. But then you have to take them out. Whereas with Lego, if you just stand on one Lego, it doesn't, it's not going to pierce you unless you hit like the very edge. But that will be painful for a while, just stepping on one Lego. So imagine getting choke slammed or something into Lego. I think both are terrible.
Lego.
I would only rather a thumbtack match if I had someone to pull the thumbtacks out of me. I couldn't do it myself, but if there was nobody there that would do it, a Lego match.
Lego match.
Don't quote me on that ever though, because I don't want to do a Lego match. But
all right, the next promoter is watching you right now, and
like, oh, we booked you for a Lego match.
We'll book you for a Lego match, a hardcore Lego match. Well, it'll be great.
Inside.
I'll make like jelly shaped Lego. I'm sure I'll get away with that. That'll be fine. Nobody will know.
Now. I can see the picture now, Rayne. You get the promotional picture and it says Lego match, and you like post it on your Instagram and it says like, or in Twitter. Thanks a lot, dudes at ringside for the big house.
I can make it even better. What about a hard candy match where someone gets suplexed on hard candy?
Do you know that has happened?
Like candy canes or something like that.
I can't. I'm not gonna say the specific match for a reason, but there has been a wrestling match here where it was Skittles.
Ooh.
So they emptied out a bucket of Skittles.
Skittles.
I think. Do you know what? Between like candy, Lego, and thumbtacks, this is probably nobody will agree with this. I think I would actually rather land on like smashed glass or like a light tube, even though technically that would hurt more. I would rather do that.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez, right.
I wouldn't want to put my back in that much. I love Skittles, so I'll be like, as I'm on the ground cringing, I'll be like that. Are you eating the Skittles? No, it's numbing the pain.
Do you know that was my one mistake in a match? So the only ever 18 and over show I've done so far. I am getting to do another one this year. At the end of the match, I thought, because I was meant to be doing a sort of Stone Cold inspired sort of character, where it was just, being bad, like I'm the good guy, but I'm the badass good guy, sort of in that way. Yeah. So I thought afterwards, I'll get a drink. I will get actual alcohol and down it after this match. And, obviously in a match, you can't breathe. You're gassing a little bit. You got to the end and I drank this drink and it was vodka. And it was the first thing I could feel in the back of my throat as I sipped it. But I couldn't I was downing this and I was just like, I actually hate myself right now. Dribbled everywhere and threw the cup away. It was all good and fine. But then the hardcore match that was on after that night had an actual vodka bottle, but they filled it with water. They were smart enough to not drink actual vodka. I was so angry at that.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I'm being hardcore. I'm going to drink. And they're just sitting like, yeah, I'm going to have some water during my match. And I was like, that's smart, but I'm also really angry right now.
So you thought it was vodka, but it was actually water, right?
They just filled that bottle up with water. So it was like, for a hardcore match, they were just having water. But me in a regular match, but playing to the character, had vodka. And it was just, when you can't breathe and you're dehydrated, the first thing you do not want to hit your throat is vodka, because you will just feel like you need to throw up instantly.
Jeez.
That's crazy. It's like, it's like crazy because like certain wrestlers will do certain things after a match. Some people will just like get themselves and go back to medical and check if anything's broken or busted. Some people will sit back outside, go outside and smoke a cigarette. Then there's people that have a bottle backstage. They'll just down it and they'll just drink.
I think my literal, see, when I'm finished any match, whether I'm a good guy or a bad guy, my first, literally the first thought is, if anyone watched it, I asked them for their feedback. Unfortunately, being a female, there's not often times that a lot of people watch it. But you can obviously later on, if they're willing to, link your match and they can watch it and give you feedback there. And then once I'm done with that, I don't even want to get changed because I'm so hyped about it. I want to go back out when the show is finished and go talk to all the fans, whether I'm a good guy or a bad guy. Like, they've made that night, they've made that match possible. They've given me everything and made me enjoy that. So I want to go out there and basically thank them. Maybe not in the traditional way. Maybe I might be going out there to slag them, but they know it's in a good way. It's what they've paid for. It's what they've come to see.
Exactly, because you're the heel. Because you're the heel of the
exactly.
The show, right? So they paid their money. They know what to expect. It's like, thank you. Here's a slap in the face, or here's a glass of water right in the face. There you go.
I think that happened at CPW actually. When I was up there, I came out after the show, and obviously everyone wanted to see the good guys. And then I had a swarm come to me because basically I'd shouted at every single fan on the seats. So they swarmed at me and they were all like, "We want a picture with you." And I was like, "No, you called me stupid, you called me ugly, and you called me fat. You don't get a picture with me."
I don't know if you remember this, but there was actually a Ring of Honor match where CM Punk, I forgot if it was CM Punk or Samoa Joe. They did this,
Mhm.
and what was it? Who was it? He did it in front of Joe, and Joe patted it on the back, and he did it in front of, and then he went up to CM Punk, and then CM Punk just went and he flipped him off or something like that. Because CM Punk was
things like that. It's so good.
CM Punk was just playing the heel, so of the match. So obviously, what did you think you were gonna get when you were trying to cheer for the heel?
So Rayhne, who were your inspirations as a kid to when you to give you idea to become a professional wrestler?
So I had luckily I don't remember sort of when I was young, but I was lucky enough to kind of have inspiration from wrestling when I was young, because I actually had I don't think I had one, but I had WrestleMania 2 and 3 on video. Like in the actual old video players, but I was a bit young sort of watching that. So the first actual memory I have, and I'm actually going to look it up on Google here because I always forget, because it was the first time I'd ever watched it. I wanted to basically be closer to my big brother, and he was watching the live stream. So obviously for us over here, that usually starts at like midnight, 1 a.m. And obviously I had to wait till I was allowed to stay up till that late. Because it's actually a Punk match, I do remember.
His theme song always gets me. Actually, I work at a supermarket, and yesterday, in the middle of putting corn in the buckets, Cult of Personality comes on it, and I can't sing for my life, but some of the words I got really good out of my mouth. I was singing that whole. If you were walking this way, you would have started laughing or going, "Way to go, Joe! You sound really you're not that good at singing." But everywhere.
I think if you were to ask everybody in Scotland, basically with Grado using the Madonna song, anytime that comes on, whether it's in work, whether it's at a nightclub, whether it's on the radio, like I guarantee you, every single person. You could be fans of Madonna anyhow, but they will belt out that song. They will do the stupid dance, everything, just for that.
I don't.
But I can't see here.
I'm thinking Cult of Personality.
The first show I properly watched to get into wrestling, it was the Night of Champions pay-per-view on 2009. So that was the Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk.
That was a great promo, by the way. That's when I'm like, yes, this is the Punk I remember from Ring of Honor. That's what I was like. He went off on Jeff Hardy right after that, which was great.
It was amazing. And then after that, I kind of just watched Raw. Like, you get the Raw highlights on Sky every Saturday at like 11 a.m. So I would sit and watch them. So when it came to, obviously, WWE terms, it was always like Beth Phoenix, Edge, Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, Chris Jericho that I kind of looked to. And then TNA started getting televised. I know it was previously, but then I didn't have like the television package for it. But then when it came on again, it was like ODB. Even though obviously for a young girl, shouldn't have been like watching like a character like that. But I loved ODB and the Beautiful People. Like, even though the Beautiful People were meant to be horrible people, but it was like they played it so well that I was like, I can't hate you because it's so good. And then with that, with TNA coming on, they also did the TNA boot camp, which was when they had a lot of the Scottish wrestlers introduced. So like Kaylee Ray was on that. So that was the first time I actually got to see Kaylee Ray before I saw her in Scotland. And that kind of just broadened all my horizons after that.
Yeah. So like,
but yeah, basically everyone, it doesn't matter female or male. It's a lot of people from the past that I take inspiration from. But it's usually, more often than not, it's usually big guys that throw people about. That's about it. That's my inspiration.
See, you don't feel you don't worry, you won't feel old by saying cassette tapes, because I have like 2 or 3 WrestleMania tapes in my room right now. I'm 38, so I have tapes still like just sitting there. I actually have a cassette tape autographed by Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah, 2004. In 2004, I used to collect the Ring of Honor VHS tapes back then. Because
they're not tapes anymore, but for a long while, I was buying all the WWE DVDs, because obviously on the network, like, they've censored things, they've taken stuff away. Yep. I actually had, until I gave it to a friend, I had a full collection from like 2000 to 2010, just of all the DVDs. And I say that, and I don't even like wrestling that much, as I like to tell people. So,
yeah, it happens. It's a lot of things in wrestling right now. Rayhne, if you watch past episodes, I rant. I go on a rant about on wrestling. I get really mad because there's a lot of things that they've done lately that are like so stupid. Like the release. What do you? I know you said you don't like wrestling. That list of wrestlers that have been released in the past few. Was it last week, Geek?
Yeah, it was last week. Like where like they released 10 wrestlers during the pandemic, and that's just horrible. I'm like, none of these other companies that are struggling have released their wrestlers. Like Ring of Honor has not released it. I'm like, you guys are a friggin' billion-dollar company. You mean to tell me you couldn't keep these guys afloat?
Yeah, that's been my personal hate for a few years. Obviously, so I wasn't happy with it, right? So I was there for, at the time, called Nikki Storm's last match in Scotland before she got moved to NXT, which obviously with Nikki Cross now. And with her and Damo, I was so upset that they were leaving. I was happy for them. They deserved the pay raise. They deserved everything they had coming to them. But I was just like, I feel a sense of loss with them going, because they were people I loved there. And then when I saw that Damo obviously got released, I was sad because, you know, he didn't deserve that. He's so talented. It's crazy.
Damo's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, a bit of me was really happy though, because I was like, maybe I could see him. I could see that talent again one day, maybe. And that made me excited. It's horrible that it's happened, and I don't wish it on anyone, no matter if they're an incredible wrestler or they're just like, you know, somebody just learning. But I did get excited over the fact I could see these people, and I could see these people actually wrestle and not just be in like a sitcom. They can actually show their talent once again. So I'm excited to see, but I do think they'll all get snapped up regardless, and they should all be, you know, stable and safe regardless of WWE. It just takes a bit of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's so sad. Like someone like Fandango, he was in the company like what, 14 years, Geek?
13 years.
Yeah.
14 years, and you drop him like a bad habit. Like he's such a great like talent. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
It's always, I'm not somebody that's like, you know, a lot of people right now are being like, oh, you've fired all these people, but you keep Eva Marie on. Like, I don't care about that. I don't, like, me personally, I enjoyed watching, and it's bad that I can't even remember her gimmick name right now. Lana. I enjoyed watching Lana getting to wrestle. Obviously, she was just starting out. She was training, but a lot of people hated her because everyone was like, but she's wrestling and the good wrestlers aren't. And it's like, but she's trying, she's putting in the effort, so doesn't she deserve the shot to be shown?
Yeah.
But a lot of people are just hating on that right now. But I've actually not, apart from WrestleMania, I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a WWE product because I don't enjoy it personally. I've just been fully hooked on sort of TNA matches. I still don't really watch it as much, but I don't think I've watched properly WWE since about 2016 at this point.
Oh wow.
Me and Joe.
Sorry, I'll talk after.
Yeah, me and Joe have been really pro indies for a while. Like we started watching Ring of Honor. We just love the indies, and we watch WWE like when it's on, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, lately, like for the past 2, 3, 4 months, we have a wrestling show. I'm like, we haven't even watched Raw recently.
When we started this podcast, Rayhne, we were doing we would get a guest like our friend that's tonight, Damian Dragon, which is a nice guy. You definitely, after the show, go try to follow him on Instagram. He's a super sweet guy. He was in the indies for a while. He left. He does some wrestling still, not that much anymore. But that's why I posted the video with Sweet Dreams. That's his theme song.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's a super nice guy. Oh my God, you ask him about wrestling stories, I just got chills. He has so many stories about the ring that he will tell you. The last show was the reason why he's coming on tonight is he had so many stories. He's like, guys, I want to do a part 2.
So many stories, yeah.
And then we got you, and I'm like, we're gonna have 2 wrestlers in one day, one from England and one else. I felt bad. I thought you were from England. And that's why
I was away to end the call there. If you were going to keep saying that, I was offended there. How dare you say I'm from England? That's shocking.
About to knock me out.
She's gonna give you a powerbomb finisher, Joe, in a minute.
Finishing move is so cool. I love your. What is the name of your finishing move?
It's called the raindrop.
Raindrop. Yeah, you'll be raindropping.
It's like a big powerbomb. Just drops you and slams you.
I'm only 130 pounds. You lift me up like a TV remote. Joe, that's it. Just nothing else. Just like lifting up.
I'm the one who.
Because then it's up high and down, proper slam. They're the best ones, so that's good to know.
I'm the one that actually told him you're from Scotland, and he's like, "You sure, geek? You sure?" I'm like, I'm pretty sure, Joe. Right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to get a raindrop to a table. I'd call England.
I mean, that would be both my dreams right there. It would.
Joe needs a raindrop through a flaming table.
I mean, if someone wants to set that up, I'll not say no. I'll not say no.
Geez.
Any promotion that wants to see Joe get powerbomb through a flaming table. Thanks, geek. You just turned heel on me just now.
So what? Why? Marauder is promoting Pro Wrestling Tees. Are your t-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees?
I do actually. My brand new t-shirt that was designed by Rebecca Resner. It is actually live on Pro Wrestling Tees at the moment, and it is available, I believe, in sizes small to 2XL.
Here you go, Marauder. You can go buy her t-shirt. Go buy a t. Yeah, yell at Marauder right now. He's always getting out on kid.
Geek just threw you through the barbershop window and say, "That's it. I'm going solo. I'm ripping the sticker off the wall right now."
Yell at Marauder. Tell him to go buy a t-shirt. Say, Marauder, go buy a t-shirt.
Do you know the funny thing about the barbershop incident actually is the reason my mum was kind of a little bit into wrestling, but how she mainly got into it was actually while she was working in a hotel in Aberdeen. She met Shawn Michaels in the lift. And then that's how, so her love for Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, she absolutely loves Bret Hart, but it was because of that incident there, she managed to meet Shawn Michaels. And
oh, wow. Actually, today is Bret Hart's birthday, actually.
That's bad. I didn't even know. Do you know? See, that's a sign. Do you know what? I'm gonna say that's a sign. It's a sign for nothing, but it's a sign.
Yes. Yeah, because I was like, why is everybody posting Bret Hart's pictures? I was getting scared. I was like, oh no.
Please tell me he's not died.
I'm scared. I always do that. I'm like, I don't know if you know the 80s rapper, I can't think of his name. He made that song, Girl, you know, you got what I need. And you
yeah.
he passed away yesterday.
I can understand from that bad rendition, but yeah.
Yeah, him. He passed away yesterday.
She just called it a bad rendition, Joe.
Yeah, he's Marquis. He passed away yesterday.
I didn't even know that. That's all. I'm too busy working at the moment, so I don't see anything happening. I'm too busy sorting all the vaccines out.
Murar says he's still alive right now.
Why are people posting it on Instagram that he died? Why did they say he died yesterday? Why was everybody saying rest in peace, Biz Marquis?
It's not the same. It's not the same thing as a live person at all. Okay, but I watch a lot of anime. Right, I don't hide that at all. I fully started watching anime, and I love the volleyball anime Haikyuu. And people started talking about a character being dead. And obviously, this is a sports anime. Nothing like that happens. It's not action. It's not a thriller. And somebody posted it online like R.I.P. I found out later it was a joke. I think I sat for half an hour and cried, thinking that one of my favorite characters was killed off in a show.
Oh God! Here we go.
I mean, I don't cry. It's rain. No, I don't cry. It's not tears. It's just rain.
Like my eye was dripping.
Yeah.
Like I have allergies. Leave me alone. Yeah. So, like, do you collect anything?
Not too much. I've started. Not that I did get pop figures, but that's kind of something that I've always got. I do have some that you can kind of see like up there, but I don't have too many. I just have like right now. I've got some wrestling ones. I've got ones from my favorite game, which is Gears of War.
Well, come closer so she could see it. I don't know if she could see it. CM Punk.
That's a sick one. Yeah. So my games, anime, and wrestling ones, but I am trying to buy a lot more. But I'm also trying to be a responsible adult at the moment. So I've just paid for a brand new PC. So I don't think I'll be kind of buying anything else at the moment.
Yeah, so when the show's over, Lance could send you the full episode if you want. You could post it on your YouTube channel.
See, guys, so you get to enjoy this again.
Yeah, everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah, you can watch it as many times as you want. Everyone can watch as many times as they want.
Email it. I guess he can email it to you.
Even if it's bad, it's like still we're on internet or on YouTube forever until I delete it. You know.
Get another job, my friends are gonna get me. So if I get another job, my friends are gonna be like, "So you're a YouTuber? What are you talking about? I've been on YouTube for 5 years." No, dudes at ringside. Oh God,
that show. Oh God.
Or if
there's nobody in at the moment, I don't think. But I started a new job just sort of like almost 2 months ago, and just recently, while we were all sitting waiting, we were just kind of all chatting, and I just said, unfortunately, the show didn't go ahead, but I was booked for a show last month, and I was like, I need a day off just to attend the show, and everyone's like, what do you mean show? And I was just like, I always I love talking about wrestling, but I hate telling people that aren't in wrestling that I'm a wrestler, because often than not, it's stupid questions. It's like, oh, is it that fake wrestling? Is it that stupid one on the TV? And I just don't like talking about that. But everybody in this chat was like, really? Do you have a YouTube? Let me see the YouTube. They're all talking about buying my t-shirt and everything. I'm like, I work with you guys. You don't need to do that.
No, jeez.
Next time somebody asks you if wrestling is fake, just say, let me hit you with a steel chair and ask you if it's fake. and then let me know if it hurts or not.
It's not even that. The worst thing I ever had happen to me so far, and I fondly look on this memory now, because we all joke about it. When I was training at the asylum, the GPWA asylum here in Glasgow, we were doing sort of up and overs in the corner. And I still don't know what happened to this day. I think this was about 3-4 years ago, roughly about now. And I was doing it with Lionheart. He goes to send me over, and I miss the ring apron and fall flat on the floor, which the floor at the time was just concrete.
Oh, jeez.
So I landed back first on the concrete, and it's my right shoulder has been shot ever since. But everybody stopped what they were doing. You just heard a thud on the ground. Everyone in that place stopped what they were doing, just looked at me and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like, I just got up and went back to training.
So you basically no-sold it, basically.
Yeah, it's like I've had a shoulder injury ever since, but it's absolutely fine, you know. That's just life.
You're like, I'm fine. I didn't hurt myself.
It's like a Minoru Suzuki when somebody punches you in the face. You're like, punch me again. Come on. Come on.
But yeah, I don't even say the hard stuff to them. I'd say if anyone wants to think it's fake, the first session I did in GPWA, it was cardio, so we had to do like 100 squats, some other stuff, rolls, and then bumps. I couldn't walk for 4 days after that first session. So if anybody wants to say it's fake, do a little cardio warm up and go. Obviously, I'm not telling people to just go bump in a ring, but once you take the first bumps, obviously it's safe, it's fine, but it will hurt because you need to train your body for it. So it's absolutely going to hurt, but it doesn't in time because you'll get used to it. So
yeah, if you guys think it's fake, you can get in the ring with Rayne right here, and you get Rayne dropped on thumbtacks and say, "Oh, is that fake now?" Right?
So when you first started training, what did your parents think about you being a wrestler?
So I've got another sad backstory for this. Basically, a lot of people do know about this anyway. So I decided, I think it was like on my 19th birthday. Obviously, I'm 24 now. On my 19th birthday, I decided I want to start training. It's something I had interest in, and I wanted to look into it. But on my 19th birthday was my grand's funeral, which was actually funny because I always say I was up in a different town to go to her funeral. It was my birthday, so we went out for food, and we happened to bump into a wrestler while we were at this restaurant after the funeral. So that kind of made me want to do it more. And then I came back from there to basically find out my dad was ill and it was terminal. So obviously life was on hold at that moment. He didn't originally live with us. He had his own house. He moved in with us. He was bed bound, everything else. And it was always people don't laugh at this as much as I do, but it was the night. When was it? I think it was February 2016. He passed away. It was the night on Raw that Daniel Bryan was making his retirement speech, which I always bring up now that, you know, he could retire and come back, but my dad died and didn't come back to life. But when it was, as soon as the New Day came out, singing about, you know, the power of positivity and stuff like that, as soon as that happened, my dad died. Like, I watched him die at that moment. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
A lot of people are obviously like, "Are you okay?" And I just laugh at it now because obviously it's like, it's that timing, of course. So obviously once he passed away, we got like the funeral out the way. I was just working and did nothing. Obviously I was only 19 at the time. I didn't really have anything going for me. And one of the wrestlers from the asylum, my mum was in contact with him because we had my dad's cowboy boots, but nobody was going to wear cowboy boots. They were like really expensive, proper branded. And he was like, "I'll take them." So I went into Glasgow to the training centre to deliver them. And I was looking about, and I was just like, do you know what? This is pretty cool. And he told me, we have like a space for the induction that's happening next week. I went home. I told my manager I couldn't work Sundays anymore because I'm going to this training, and I paid, and I started instantly from that. I don't think my mum was against it. I don't think at any point she was against it, but I don't think she was as supportive because where I live, there's no travel on a Sunday until late afternoon. And obviously this training session was in like 11 a.m. So what I'd have to do is I would have to get a taxi that was it was like a £50 taxi. So that would be like $60 every single Sunday just to make this training. But to me, it was worth it because it was like, this is an opportunity. So if I have to pay that much money for 8 to 12 weeks, I'm going to pay that much money and I'm going to go learn. And I did. And it's obviously a few things haven't gone as I hoped, but I don't regret it at all.
What's your pre-match warm-up like? Like, what do you do before a match? Like,
see, I was trying to reflect off my last match, but my last match, well, the last time I wrestled, I did 2 shows in one day. So I actually had to, I was second, so I didn't have enough time to sort of prepare before the match. Went out and wrestled, jumped in a car, drove for an hour, and then went into a main event in another place. I don't know. I spend a lot of the time sort of jumping about. I do like a little warm up, obviously, to get me ready, so I'm not just going out there out of breath. But once I know what I'm doing, and I kind of think about that, and then I almost kind of get into character almost. Like, I'm a friendly person. I talk to everyone sort of thing. I'll kind of shut myself off, ready to go out and scream at people. But everything I do just kind of, I don't think about it. It just happens. So like what I'm doing beforehand, I've never thought about what I'm doing. It just kind of, I do what I feel is right at the time, especially with it because I've got mental disabilities as well. It's just kind of like, if I was to have an anxiety flare up, for example, I would kind of calm myself down in that moment, but it might be different the next time. And it's the same with going out. When I get out that curtain, I scream and shout, but I don't think about what I'm screaming and shouting. Unfortunately, my friend Shan, at that triple threat match we were talking about earlier, I came out, as I said, right before it, I couldn't even walk. Came out the curtain, and I told her to, and I quote, "Shut up, fatty," and I felt so bad after it. But I was just like, I didn't think, it just came out. It was the character, it wasn't me. That's how it is basically. Once I get into that mode, I am my own character. I'm
it's
not
the adrenaline,
myself.
right?
Yeah,
basically.
I just get excited to go out there and shout at people. That's about it. I jump about, I look happy, but I'm happy to give people abuse. That's about it.
Yeah, when we were talking this morning, it was like when you messaged, it's like over here, it's like after midnight when I got your message, and I was sleeping. I always check my phone for any message for wrestlers or anything, and I get the thing I said, you were like, whatever you said, and I'm just like, oh no. That's why I kept messaging, and I woke up and I was sort of like, yay, morning. Oh no, not our morning.
It was with my new job, obviously, with the COVID situation, it's kind of what I work with. So a lot of people aren't very nice, which, if it was wrestling, I would give them the abuse right back. But professionally, I'm obviously not going to do that. So with going between that and just in a rough patch, I felt terrible. But I got up this morning. I worked some extra overtime. I had a dentist appointment, which I'm thankful because I actually have teeth now. So I'm happy about that. And then as I said, I just went to the gym, and I was in the gym for like an hour and a half, and it just calmed me right down. Getting to lift heavy, getting to do some press ups and abs, it just made me feel so much better. And I was just like, you know what, we're calmed down now, we can go home. de-stress, and it's stuff I don't think about. Like at the time, I don't think that that's helping me, but after I can reflect that it does actually help.
Are there vaccines in Scotland right now, or is stuff
Yeah,
opening
so
up?
I know we actually this has become sort of a thing. We have AstraZeneca, which isn't actually supported by the American government at the moment. Moderna and Pfizer, that's the 3 vaccinations we've got here in Scotland at the moment. But obviously some aren't registered with certain places, and so that's kind of what we have to deal with, getting everybody vaccinated and getting them to the right places. But obviously, as you can believe, that a lot of people want to go on holiday and kind of book their holiday first before, sorting their vaccines out. So it's been a fun time of that, basically.
Yeah. So like
and
over
that's
here,
a reminder: go get your vaccine, no matter who you are. Go get it.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So everybody can get back to normal. We could go to Scotland and
we can go to wrestling shows. Come on.
Right.
You want Rayne to come to him. Well, even though we're currently on the East Coast with Rayne now, Rayne can come to a New York. We could. This leads ways in my next question. We always talk about pizza and food. Like, what is your favorite food to get if you had a chance to say, okay, I have this and this and this? Like, what kind of food is your favorite?
Oh goodness. Well, for me, it would definitely be Chinese, but it's not like authentic Chinese food. It's like the Chinese we get from takeaways here. So like, we have a new Chinese that's opened here, and I always get salt and chili chicken, because who doesn't love chicken? Prawn toast, and then I always get rice, a ton of rice, just pour gravy all over it.
Ooh.
So basically anything chicken, and if I have to, if Chinese wasn't an option, anything pasta related. I'm a big fan of just all the carbs. I don't care. I'm chubby already. I will take the calories. I'm not going to say no.
You and Geek can hang out. He loves his pasta. Geek, he's a pasta freak. Oh my god.
I love pasta, but I hate making it just because.
Pasta and burgers, right there.
Oh, Five Guys burgers are my favorite.
Yeah. Five Guys in Scotland, or
they do indeed. It's nowhere near me, unfortunately. You have to for me, I have to go on a day out if I want Five Guys. But I always get a Five Guys cheeseburger, the chips, and I'm hooked on. I get a combination of the milkshake, so I get vanilla, banana, and Biscoff. So it basically just tastes like a sort of banana cheesecake almost. With whipped cream on top.
They have a weird milkshake here in America. They have a bacon milkshake, which is weird.
I want to try that so much. I was, when I was a kid, I obviously watched the YouTube channels and obviously the food ones that were all bacon strips, everything. But I actually really enjoy the bacon. It's more often than not smoky bacon, unfortunately. I don't like smoky bacon. I prefer the unsmoked bacon. But I'd try all that kind of stuff. People call me weird for it. I'm fully outing myself right now, but I am the type of person, I don't do it all the time, but I am the type of person that dips my McDonald's chips into my milkshake or McFlurry, because I love that. I enjoy that.
We have fries here, and
You said, I'm thinking. I was last time, I'm thinking you said chips, and you can see the bubble above my head, the cartoon Teen Titans bubbling. I'm going.
He likes his frosty and fries right there.
Oh yeah.
You got to dip the fries in the frosty right there.
Oh yeah, you got to.
That's fair. Do you know what? At least you can give me all the suggestions going forward. If America ever does happen, then I'll know where to go for food.
Yeah, there's a lot of good food in America. We got there's a place in New York called Katz's Delicatessen. It's one of the most well-known restaurants you could ever go to. It's known for pastrami and corned beef. It's the most if you ever see the movie Harry Met Sally?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they filmed that scene where I'll have what she's having.
Ah, okay.
They're
The
known
one
for
thing I have, do you know, the one thing I've always actually wanted to get, and it's because of the Princess Diaries movies, I've always wanted to try a corn dog.
Oh God! See, if we ever come to New York, well, being Geek will find you somewhere that has a corn dog.
That's fine.
Coney Island.
We'll bring you to Coney Island in Brooklyn.
Oh, great. As
Bring
well
you-
as, do you know the actual, as well, the only other thing I want to do, I'm a big fan of the show Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
I grew up on that.
Oh, you can hang out with the mod. The mod's a big fan of the Gilmore Girls.
That's good to hear. So basically, like, my plan is, whether it's wrestling or not, but my plan is to basically go to kind of all the places in there, because obviously it's in Connecticut that it's kind of like based around, but all the sort of food places that are involved there, obviously not the made ones that are like made up in the show, but the real places they show, and the hot dog carts. I know it's like just a hot dog, but fully I want to experience like the whole hot dog cart of like that, onions, mustard, everything. I just think it'd be great.
Yeah. We could do that. Like there's that place Nathan's I'm talking about. Nathan's is like
that's the original.
That's an original like hot dog place. You can like they do the contest and they talk about it in Scotland, like the American famous hot dog contest. You go to Nathan's, it's just like you go home. And most people would buy a shirt or a hat. Like I went to Nathan's. See, like you ever seen Nathan's hot dogs? That's the one in Brooklyn that everybody knows. Nathan's hot dog. Nathan's hot dogs. Like, but it's funny. Like me and Geek lived in New York all our lives. They go like Nathan's. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think of pastrami, and I'm stupid. I go to work. I want a pastrami sandwich, and I get the pastrami sandwich. Or make it thick, and I'm like eating the sandwich, and I'm like, this is nothing like Katz's. What the hell did I just do to myself? It's ruined my whole lunch break.
I think that's true no matter what you do, though. Like, we have it here that, like, obviously, like, if, for example, say you got a Subway, right? Subway is great. It's a good go-to for sandwiches. But if you were to go to, like, a gas station and pick up a sandwich there, you're like, oh, chicken, that sounds nice. And then you eat it and you realise it's probably the worst thing you've ever tasted in your entire life. Like, I think we've all had that experience at one point.
It's so funny, like Esmeralda says she wants to watch me eat hot dogs. I'm the worst person to watch. I'm the guy that, like, I love sauerkraut. So, like, I'll get my hot dog with the spicy mustard on it, New York style. And as the guy's putting the sauerkraut, and you think he's done because you can still see the hot dog. No, I'm like, keep going.
That's exactly how I feel with cheese. Like, no matter what it's on, I'm cover everything in cheese, and we're good.
Like, I ruined a Yankees jersey when I went to the old Yankee Stadium. I'm walking with my hot dog, and the guy stops. I'm gonna keep going, and I'm standing there staring at the stadium eating my hot dog, and my friend's like, dude, and I'm like, what? You don't like how I'm eating my hot dog? No, look, the sauerkraut is literally New Jersey got it for Easter. The sauerkraut is on the jersey with the mustard just dripping down. I'm like, ah.
So what you're saying is I have to send you a napkin or a bib for yourself as well. I'll get you an embroidered bib. That's what we'll do.
Yes. Joe's a piggy. Just put your logo on this corner. Joe is a piggy. Or you know what? I could think of the name of you can call your fans the Raindrops.
And that is actually, do you know what? You might be smart enough to come up with that, but that is actually what I already call them. Not that there are a lot out there, but you know, if anybody wants to come find me, then I'm happy to always talk. I always interact, and it's kind of like, it's almost like a little family that we have at the moment. We've got like a little group chat with all the fans. We all talk to one another, and if anybody's having a bad day, they're also welcome to message me personally. But we have like a little group, and it's just all the Raindrops.
I was thinking, I'm like, what could she call her fans if she didn't have a name? Heel. I'm like, Raindrops. That's perfect. Say it.
I think that's good for heels. Every time that I'm like the good guy, all I can think about is the rainbow drops, like the sweets.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's what I link my whole character. See, if I'm a good guy, it's rainbow drops. If I'm a bad guy, it's just rain.
You could have like what looks like a thing of Skittles dropping over, but just put rain and have like the little purple like little what look like Skittles dropping out of the package and says instead of taste the rainbow, taste the raindrops.
Zach, do you know what? See, you're coming up with my whole character for me. You know, but absolutely fine.
I draw. I'm an artist. I draw and I write. So like that's like what I do.
Are they currently wrestling in Scotland or?
Not at the moment, unfortunately. They've just started having shows in England, obviously with precautions. But in Scotland, we don't really have a time set for that at the moment. Hence why we can't actually train like fully in Scotland yet as well. But there are a few shows I should be on in England soon. So at least it's not like nothing's happening. At least there's something happening, which I'm looking quite forward to.
Uh-huh.
Why are we gonna get kicked off the Twitch mod? What happened?
No, I was just making a joke with Marauder over there. We said ban him. So
our mod / one of our bigger fans just asked, "Do you have any pets?"
I do. I could get him in. I can see about getting him in. So I'm gonna go get him.
Okay.
That's the floofs at ringside right there, Joe,
The
right?
Oh geez, here we go.
It comes to floofs at ringside.
Step. Okay, let's see how good this is. Come here. Wait, up in here. You're not looking at me. Cop, Leo. Oh no.
Oh geez.
My dog hears noise and he thinks like somebody's trying to break in.
Oh geez, you just beat him
one
up
more
with
time.
a raindrop. Oh geez, here we go. Pets always do it to us, isn't it?
Yep, it's on every show.
We have to answer.
We have a dog. Oh no, he's gone again. Oh well, that was fully the dog that wrecked that. Come here, Leo. Come here.
Leo?
Yeah.
See what Ahmad did.
Black Lab?
That's my little. That was a brief, but I tried. But yeah, that's my.
We get our flutes at ringside.
Yeah, if you could, my brother's going to hold him up, hopefully. But he keeps running away. You call for him and he runs in the opposite direction for absolutely no reason.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a collie.
Oh, collie.
Oh, here we go.
Kind of like Alice. Lassie. Like Lassie. Right? Isn't that?
There we go.
Oh gosh, so cute. Hello, puppy.
Yeah.
Your dog is making used to the world.
But obviously he does. As I said, you shout on him and he just runs in different directions. So it's obviously fun when it's time to go for walks or something, and you're like, "Let's go," and he's just like, "Nope."
Don't want to. He's like, "How about now?" So yeah.
Okay. Hopefully this should stay now. No dogs shall interrupt the equipment this further.
No messing up the podcast, pup.
No, it's our mod that messed up the podcast because she said, we want the floofs. I'm like, geez, you know? Our mod always calls it floofs at ringside because they have fur, so. Yeah, there she goes with the floofs at ringside.
Has to be one of our third alternate shirts that we're gonna have. We have to have floofs at ringside because every single time it's either floofs at ringside or what's it, pizza podcast?
Lucha Pizza Podcast, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Lucha Week. So we had a girl from the West Coast, Charisma, which is another sweet wrestler you have to follow. She's a super sweetheart. I mean, the girl promoting for the week of our show, we never have. People make us previews.
Mm-hmm.
Charisma did it every single week before the week before.
Yeah, that's how I would usually do it as well. That's just like kind of that's what in my brain, that's kind of what you do. I know, obviously, I can't say I did it because, you know, I had the big depression and stuff. But to me, that's just like, if somebody's taking their time to come to you to obviously talk to you, promote you and stuff like that, it's only fair that you promote them back. That's just how I feel. I know some people don't think of that, but personally, that's just what I think instantly.
Yeah. See, like,
we also understand the other side to it too. It's like you guys are busy, you know. Sometimes you don't have the time, so that's 100% understandable. So,
and I get worried because like now, before it was just me on the thing. Now it's Geek, and like now I warn him now that when you say something to a wrestler, you have to put /Geek.
So they know who it is.
I put Joe.
Yeah.
I always put Joe. I don't put Panther. I just put Joe. Or I have my initial thing JPRR, but people are like JPRR.
Yeah. Because I do that as well. I've got a mod on my Facebook page. But obviously it's like I just mostly do everything myself, but especially with my new job, I'm working like a lot more than I used to. So all my tweets, all my Instagram is just me. When it comes to my Facebook, sometimes it might be somebody else, but I don't let them reply for me. I would just get them to say, like, you know, she's not available right now. She'll see your message soon, but just don't think you're being ignored.
Yeah, it's always good to have that because like Geek takes care of the Facebook one, but now I made the Instagram, and then I was like,
he's on the Facebook too, also.
Yeah, but I don't really. I kind of look at it. I don't go on Facebook on my phone, but he takes care of it a lot. But I take care of it on Instagram, and as I said, I wake up to some mornings with like 4 messages, and where I work in my store, they don't give us the Wi-Fi. Yeah. So I get my dad's backing in our driveway, Rayhne, and it's like I look at the phone as we back up. My dad stops his car, and then boom, 4. I'm like, ooh, 4 today.
Yeah, sometimes like me and him like we'll wake up and say, "Oh, this message." It's like it'll be like because all the wrestlers in different time zones. Like when we're sleeping, we're like, "Oh, we got this message and this message." So
that's why I would be confused because sometimes I wouldn't see the message and I'd obviously just reply. I don't expect anyone to reply instantly, but whether I replied like at night or dead at night or in the morning, it would always say like available 10 minutes ago, and I'm like, do they ever sleep? Like, are they just always awake?
Yeah. I feel bad. Like if we message you so late, we're like, oh my god, she's.
I forgot what time it is over there. It's like
Geek actually does this. He goes, Joe, don't stop messaging them over across pond. Stop it. I'm like,
it's 2 a.m.
Americans, right? Damn Americans! You're messaging us. There's a girl actually that wrestles in England. You said you would do a hardcore match. You have to check her out. Her name's Alfie. She's from CPW in England.
Okay.
It's a different CPW.
It's different CPW, but she did a cage match. I guess it was like a pretty much like must have been like a hardcore match. She did a concerto on her opponent, Kat. Oh my god, I have to find the clip on my phone and I'll send it to you. Oh, it's on the Instagram. We posted it. Oh my god, she did the concerto, and Lance is like, "Oh my god,
Joe, don't piss her off, Joe. You might get that."
And it's kind of funny. Like I said, I'll send you the sticker. Like I said, I'll send you a sticker, Rayhne. And Alfie's like, I'll send you send me a sticker. I'll send you a T-shirt. And I'm like, T-shirt? I'm like, and I was like, I wrote T-shirt for a sticker. That's different. I literally wrote that. Because we never get we send people stickers all the time. We never get them back. No trade, no this.
I mean, I have pretty hair bows if you want them, but I that's, you know, I have nice little hair bows that obviously I like to call rainbows.
Rainbows.
Yeah. And it made me laugh because I was like, I'm not just gonna be a little scutch and not give Geek's address. Yeah. So I gave both of our addresses, and she was like, "What color do you think you want?" And I went, "I have green and black." And I went, "I want the green one because I like green." And I said, "Black for Geek." So
it's also like we call our fans we call them the Ringside Crew.
Yeah.
So, because we're the dudes at ringside, so they'll be the ones setting up the ring with the ringside crew.
Yeah, exactly. It makes total sense. I do like that.
As we're sitting sitting like slobs, eating all the pizza and the tacos, and they're just slaving away, making the ring.
Don't worry, there's a lot of people that are meant to build the ring, but also do that anyway, so you're absolutely fine.
There was another picture that I was going to ask Joe to draw, but like have me and Geek sitting there interviewing and have all the wrestlers on the opposite side online. So it's like a picture you have to like unfold. So there's all the wrestlers waiting online.
We're booked till next year. That's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Really?
So he's like, there's a line to get on the Dudes at Ringside podcast. So
because people are like, I'll take this. There's a girl that just messaged just before when we're talking. Like, it's like, oh, she's like, oh, I need, she's like, I need, she wants September 10th, and I gotta tell her whatever time, what if we're down here, I'm gonna message, what time zone are you in? Because I feel bad for you. We screwed it up at the time. That's why we had to push it back to 3 o'clock. Because I was like, I was on Google going, UK, Scotland. Oh my God, put the time back. She's gonna kill us.
The raindrop through the table, Joe.
Raindrop, Joe.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. And Joe's the lonely face. Don't forget that one.
Yeah.
So it won't go well for him.
I say that because my grandfather was a heel, so I kind of go neutral. Like certain things, like I say, I snap and I start to go on a rant, and I'll drop F-bombs. Like, you can't believe this shit. Because we curse here on Dudes at Ringside. Like, it's not a sensitive show. Like, if we had to curse, and I said, if you have any stories to say that you have to break down and say things, like, just say it. We don't care unless you don't want to get in trouble by a promotion. Just
say that.
Say it.
I've not really had a mad experience. As I said, obviously, with speaking out, there's a fair few experiences that I don't talk about. Well, there's a fair few promotions that I don't talk about anymore. But like, especially because I'm still just a trainee, especially in my own eyes. Like, I'm still a trainee. I still have a lot to learn. But apart from the sort of unfortunate bad experiences, like for example, when we do sort of gala days here, that's just kind of like the days of like a certain town will just have like a little fair. This kind of happens all over. There was a time a few years ago that basically you would go out. The plan was there would be 2 single matches. The wrestlers that were in the 2 single matches would then have a tag match. And then after the tag match, there would be a rumble, but there would only be like 7 or 8 people in there. And obviously it's in a field and it's little children. You're not going to do full, like, you're not going to do a full ROH sort of style match. It would fully be like a WWE, like, pull out the cool moves sort of match. And what happens with that is, like, obviously you're in the middle of nowhere, so unless they had like a toilet or a changing area, you're literally sitting in the back of a van, like that. But that's normal to us. You literally sit and hide in the back of the van because obviously all the kids around the ring, that's your entrance, and your exit is just sitting in that van. It's always also where you have to get changed and where you have to eat while that show's going on. And that would happen every weekend for like all of summer, that you would just go to a different place, set up, it would be the same sort of matches, and you'd just be stuck, you'd be sitting in this van. But they're the matches I'm most excited to come back, because it's just so funny, because you could do nothing, but you could hit an RKO and all of the children would go wild, because obviously they're like, it's an RKO, I know that move, that's cool. I was actually a referee in one of the matches, and I was in the Rumble, and to finish the Rumble, I hit a Stone Cold Stunner, and the guy fell out the ring with it. I didn't even wrestle, I just hit the stunner, that was it. And I had all these like little girls run towards me, and they were like, can we get your picture? Like, that was so cool and all that. And I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, I didn't do anything, but to them, that was the coolest thing they've ever seen. They just saw a girl hit a guy, put them over the ring, and won a match. And I'm just like, I love wrestling sometimes.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it should have been like maybe that, to you that must have been like your defining moment. Like these little girls saw you do something. That's gonna like lead me into my next question for you, Rayne. Like if a little girl or a little boy came up to you and asked you, told you they want to become a professional wrestler, what would you tell them?
Obviously, I would just, depending on, because certain schools have certain age limits. The best school that we have in the moment is in Fife. It's FPWA. They're sort of the best school I've seen for juniors joining. Because obviously when you're a young kid, you can't really do bumps and stuff like that. That'd be more for when you're older. But if anyone young was willing to get into wrestling, or wanted to get into wrestling is a better phrase, I would say go for it. My biggest regret in wrestling is after I took time off for an injury, my biggest regret is I was so anxious about coming back that it took me about 6 months to return. And I regret it because now I'm like, I'm going to be 25 this year. And I know COVID happened. That's the excuse for missing a year. But I'm like, I could have wrestled so much. But I was 21, but now I'm 25 and I feel old, basically, when there's all these 18-year-olds coming up and they've started training since they were young and they're amazing. And I'm just like, I started training when I was older and I feel old and I feel like I don't belong here. I'm going to show you why I belong here. But in my mind, I kind of feel like I don't. I just say, obviously, the most important part of wrestling training is you're doing it for yourself. Like, if at any reason you start to hate it, it's not giving up. Just don't do it. You might just take away a few months from it and you might want to come back and enjoy it again. It's the same if, you're playing basketball or football or anything else. Sometimes you don't enjoy it. Sometimes you'll completely not do it, or sometimes you might go back to it. It is a lot of hard work. You do, obviously, a lot of it is on yourself. So fitness-wise, obviously, make sure that you yourself are going to the gym and actively. But whether you want to wrestle for WWE or you just kind of want to do it as a hobby, go for it. Because honestly, the people I've met through wrestling, even before I started to actual wrestle on shows, have been wonderful, to the point, like, as much as I don't watch the main wrestling places anymore, regardless, my life revolves around wrestling. All my friends are people I've met in wrestling. Even I speak to people that are in America now that I consider friends. I'll never get to see them as much, but it's like, I would never have met you if it wasn't for wrestling, but you're an amazing person and it's great. I would just say go for it. And at the end of the day, like, if you want to do it, there's no excuses. Like, it takes you 2 hours to travel to a training centre. What's stopping you? Like, if you fully want to do it, just do it. That is basically my advice. Don't talk yourself. It's good to be nervous. We're all human. Obviously, the unknown scares us. But it's a family at the end of the day. Even if it's not your training school, even if it's somebody training in America but talking to someone in the UK, everyone involved in wrestling is a family at the end of the day because we're all experiencing the same things.
I know you mentioned Damo, which is and Nikki Storm. Who is your favorite person? Like, who is your dream opponent to work with?
Like, I've answered a few times. It's because we're kind of different ones. So, like, if it was like WWE, obviously for me it would be either. As much as I love Beth Phoenix, I wouldn't say Beth Phoenix because we're too similar almost, like, and like characters and wise. So I would love to meet her. I wouldn't wrestle her. I would love to wrestle Lita.
Oh yeah, wrestler.
I would love to, especially back in the day, I would love to wrestle Lita. Kaylee Ray, obviously, but Kaylee Ray and Nikki Cross were my two kind of hopeful one's for Scotland, but my biggest one, and I love her for saying that she would, but I don't think it'll ever happen. But my biggest one would be Awesome Kong, or Karma, or whatever they know her as. When I met her on tour here a couple of years ago, it was at the VIP, and we were sitting, and she was signing my book, and she was like, "Oh, do you wrestle?" And I was like, "Yeah, I train here." She asked me what my name was, and I told her everything, and she was like, "That's really cool," giving me tips, everything. And then she was like, "What?" I think she signed it saying like, "Can't wait to wrestle you one day," and I was just like, "That'll never happen, but I hope so." She would destroy me. Like, let's be real, she would flatten me. But I'll take that. I would willingly have that happen. She could throw me in and out the ring. I would love to do that.
Would you love to wrestle Damo?
Yes, but I'd be scared, only for the fact as well he'd be another one that would just throw me about. And obviously, it was not on him, but I have seen matches, obviously, where some of his matches have got bloody. So that would be my fear of. It's never happened yet. I've had it happen in training that I went to do. We were learning how to do sunset flips over the ropes. I think I was with someone bigger than me, so it kind of like, I don't know, the positioning didn't work out. So I went over and I basically smashed my nose, and it was just blood running everywhere. But to me, that was like, okay, it's just training. It's not like you're having to do anything. If it was a match and I had blood going from my nose to my mouth, I think I'd scream. Like, it would help if I was a bad guy because they would laugh at me. But if that was to happen in a match with Damo, I'd be scared because he would crush me. But again, I would welcome it. Same with Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray's obviously not like a big sort of, but she's muscly. She could throw me about as well, even for how small she is. But I'd still take it. I would happily. I'd just sit there, and go like, yeah, just drop me on my head. That's fine.
Would you ever take a chop from Walter?
God.
Even the big tough Rayhne just went, nope.
I don't know.
I think I'd have to. I'd say I'd have to experience it, but it's never happened to me. But my coach TJH, he's not as big as Walter, but he's very much the same sort of. So he hits very fierce spears. He promotes chops in training quite a lot, which is why I have hit quite a few chops, and it's all thanks to like his peer pressure. He doesn't kind of chop me. I think obviously with being a girl and stuff, and especially because I'm a larger girl, I've got more protection up here, thankfully.
Yeah.
But I would like to, not that I would like to, I would have to experience it at least once if the chance was there.
Yeah, there's fans that would say, "Hey, I would pay $200 for a chop from Walter," and they were lining up and be like, "You guys are absolutely crazy right there." I always wonder whose chops would be worse, to take a chop from Walter or a chop from Kenta Kobashi.
Oh, I don't know about that, to be fair. Oh,
I know another one. Like, it's sad to see him pass. Would you have ever done a match with New Jack?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, all that kind of stuff. Like, probably not sort of now, you know, especially with the older guys. Like, I wouldn't do it in this time period, but if it was back in the day, not that I would have been noticed back in the day or like anything, but if it was like when they were in the prime, like, I would still wrestle Victoria now because she's still good. She's still amazing at what she does. But a lot of the like sort of male ones, obviously, they can't. Not trying to say they can't do what they used to do, but obviously injuries and stuff like that. I would prefer, if I could wrestle them at their peak sort of stance.
And they could have taught you something too. Like also Sabu, another guy that would have been you and versus Sabu would have been or even you versus Sandman.
Yeah, I think my mum would have loved that one, to be fair, if that ever happened.
He's still wrestling.
Promotions, if you're listening, Rayhne would definitely like to do a thumbtack match or a Lego match. So if you guys are listening,
if you've got any sort of older hardcore wrestlers, Tommy Dreamer, if you want to come out and face me, I will let you do that. I will let you take me in a thumbtack match.
Oh my gosh! No, he could bring you on his roster for House of Hardcore.
House of Hardcore, right? As a surprise or something.
No, Tommy Dreamer can come the show. We're listening it on Spotify or iHeartRadio tomorrow, and you'd be like, Rayhne, let me look her up. Dear Rayhne, how are you? I'm Tommy Dreamer. I would like to have you come on my roster for the show when I come to Scotland.
We're just going to start that now. I'm just going to tell everybody, if anyone listening, just get on Twitter and let's just all start tweeting Tommy Dreamer. Just be like,
Tommy Dreamer wants to wrestle Rayhne in a thumbtack or a hardcore match or what's it?
I mean, I've got my own kendo stick. I've got one of those kendo sticks because my dad used to do kendo, but he had one of the sticks that had like multiple sticks taped together. I can take that with me. Like, that's fine. I'm prepared. I've got weapons. I'm sorted.
I hate to name drop people, Joe, but if Orlando's listening, he's friends with Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, we got Orlando. There's a guy we know from the radio station that we're kind of friends with. So, like, Orlando, make this happen. We got to have our buddy Rayhne.
Our buddy Rayhne. Tommy Dreamer right there. He wants to
it's a dream match. Everybody wants to see it, obviously. Like, you didn't know who I was an hour ago, and now that's a match you have to see, obviously.
Watch. If that happens, you need to have your boyfriend or your loved one that are at the event make a video clip of you either you taking a Tommy Dreamer pile driver or him just hitting him with a kendo stick in the back. Get to send us that clip. Like, it's happening.
I literally think if I was to hit Tommy, I would give it a full pelt. See, if it was a hardcore match, I wouldn't hold back just as much as I would expect nobody to hold back on me. But it's one of those, I fully expect, even if I hit him like as hard as possible, he would still just turn around and just punch me in the face or something. Like, he would just be like, was that it?
They hit you with a Tommy Dreamer pile driver.
Would you ever do a death match though? Or that's too extreme?
Oh no, definitely. Like, as much as I don't have like an end goal for wrestling, I definitely want to experience everything while I'm here. Obviously, thankfully, it's not as much of an issue here, but I've had obviously intergender matches. I often do intergender tag matches. But obviously, I've not had the opportunity to do anything like with weapons or in that style. I would absolutely love to do it.
Yeah, what's your... Sorry, go ahead.
No, continue. I was going to say, I might not say that before or after the show, but in my brain, I believe I would actually do it.
I was just about to ask you what your opinion on intergender matches are, but I guess you're pretty much pro for it right now.
It's just basically when we start out here, in our school especially, you often start out in tag matches, which is obviously a bit more difficult for women because there's a lot for like there's like 5% that are women trainees in a school, with like the 95 being male. So try to do a full women tag match is kind of like often doesn't happen. But so my debut was a intergender tag match, which I absolutely love. And then my second match and third match were also. And then there was one night at a promotion I no longer work at. I was actually injured. It helps now that I don't like the promoter also, so I feel more kind of angry about it. But this is kind of like the devotion I have for my wrestling. I had a wrist injury and it was a pretty serious one. Like, the bone was like clicked out. So they managed to just pop it back in, but it was toxic surgery. But anyway, so I still showed up at the show. I was not booked. I was supposed to do a promo thing. That was all. I didn't have my gear, and I know always you should have your gear. But because I was injured, I didn't bring it with me. I was on this spot because I was injured, so that was fine. And I'm at the show, and I get told, okay, so once we've done this promo segment, you're going to have a match with this guy. And I'm just like, excuse me? And they were like, yeah, you're going to wrestle tonight. And I'm just sitting there like with a full bandage on my wrist, like, how? I can't. And also I was told this, like, I think like a match before, or 2 matches before we were meant to go out, but obviously, like, I didn't have the time to remember stuff. It was like, oh, you're having a match, this is the match, but then go out and do a whole promo segment before it. And I remember obviously being inexperienced at the time, and I was just like so worried about it. I was so like, I can't do this. But they didn't ask me, they told me I had that opportunity. And me being me was like, I can't let that up. Like that, they've come to me, they've said that even with the injury, even with no wrestling outfit, I'm going to do it. So I had to borrow one of the guys, they had a black singlet. So I just wore that underneath what I was wearing, because I was wearing skinny jeans, but obviously I couldn't like wear the belt with wrestling, so they would like fall down a bit. But I wore the black singlet underneath, so it hid everything. And then I just had my own t-shirt on and came out, and obviously did the whole promo bit fine, did the match absolutely fine. Afterwards, it's the only time I've technically used a weapon, but I got to hit someone with a shovel. It was not planned, but I was in character. I saw somebody there and I just thought, you're getting hit with a shovel. And I was so happy I did it. Unfortunately, I don't think it was appreciated as much, because obviously it was just seen as that's your match, that's what you're told to do. But to me, that was like, I could have said no there. I should have said no, because I was badly injured. But like, I rose to that occasion, even with being just a trainee. So I was quite proud of myself for that one.
What would your dream gear be like? Because
I kind of it's.
Would you have lightning bolts, or or would it be
rain? And then like the bottom half, the rain cloud, the bottom part of the outfit, like.
Well, see, when it comes to, I don't know if anybody wants to have a look. It's all over on any social media, on my Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. I actually have a fabric that I actually found out. If you look at Kaylee Ray's NXT pink top, it's actually the same fabric she uses, but mine's is in blue and purple. So it kind of looks like lightning effects almost. In all honesty, I'd love to say I don't have like an idea of like how it would look, but I wish I could look like the sort of girls that could wear like the tops and shorts. Like that would be my dream gear almost, because I see girls all the time online. Alexis Falcon is one right now, big wrestler in England. She's got a new outfit and she looks incredible. She's got the top and shorts and then she's got a singlet. In both, she looks incredible. And then I look at myself and I'm like, I don't really like this. I do actually have new gear. Unfortunately, I've not been able to showcase it at the moment.
Because of COVID, right?
Yes. But it arrived just for my show, and unfortunately for the show to be cancelled. But I changed up. So obviously, I usually wore singlet just because that was what was normal to me. But I started to take inspiration from like, especially like, you know, Beth Phoenix and stuff, and Nikki Storm, that not a lot of wrestlers wear, like female wrestlers wear trousers. So that was a big thing that I wanted to do. And I got it sort of inspired with the Psylocke look. So I wanted to look like Psylocke, but I don't look like Psylocke in the singlet, unfortunately, because I'm not as small as her. But I got to incorporate all the bits from her outfit into something that was more covering, but it felt like this is normal. This is what I'm meant to be. It's less about, you know, looking like a girl, and it's now more looking like a fighter, like looking like a wrestler. That's how I feel now. So I actually I would love to keep stepping it up, but I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change the fabric I have now. I pretty much love my fabric and my logo that I've got. It would just be like, if someone from WWE, you know, said, we can make you an outfit, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead. But I'm quite happy with mine. I think
there's another girl that we have the name drop that's from America that I think you and her would either be good tag team partners or would probably be a great match. We had her on the podcast, Davian, Not America's Sweetheart from Boston. You gotta look her up. She wrestled in the AEW. She wrestled then.
I think it was Dark. I think AEW Dark.
AEW Dark.
Yeah.
AEW Dark. But Davian, I say your name, Davian. It's DA. It's GEV, right, Lance?
It's Not America's Sweetheart.
You're Not America's Sweetheart. Oh man, I think you and her would have a great match because I don't know. I think she does hardcore, but her finishing move, even you would be like, "That's cool. I want to try that move." She lays them into the bottom turnbuckle, and she runs back and does like a running clothesline, and their head hits the bottom rope, bottom. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to steal her move, but that's like I like that. I like hard hitting sort of moves, like especially being the larger girl and the taller sort of one in training. It's not like I get to do stuff like that all the time. Like I can't take people's moves because they're a lot smaller than me, but I do love the opportunity. Like as I said with Holidead, like when we did that match, she was just like, "You're going to take this finisher," and I was like, "Oh my god, no. Like, how am I meant to get up straight and then land on my face?" And then we just went out there and I did it. And it was fine. And it felt amazing that, like, she looked badass. I got to take this, like, really cool move. And I know that with wrestling, it's not all about, like, what you do. It's also about, like...
It's more about the story.
I always say to everyone, like, you could come out and, have a super flashy match. And I don't hate on those that can do that because I could never do that. I'm amazed at that. But I could also have a match, come out, shout it. This has happened. It was meant to be a 10-minute match, but then we got told to just kind of keep going because I think one of the wrestlers was late. So went out and just shouted abuse at the crowd for like 10 minutes and then wrestled for another 10 minutes. But it wasn't huge. It was just sort of simple, but they loved it because obviously the whole time we were engaging with them. And I always say the best part of wrestling is the fans. No matter if you've got a full arena or you've got a crowd of like 10 people, the wrestling fans at shows are what make shows.
Yeah. So my closing question I have no more questions for you.
I actually had one more though, to be honest.
Well, you do yours and I'll do my last one.
All right. So anyway, I don't know if you everyone saw this, but have you ever seen the Kenny Omega Okada match from Tokyo? Yeah. So that match is like, it's not about the move in that match. It was about the storytelling throughout all 4 matches.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that. Like, okay, Okada won the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny came close to beating Okada in the second one, and they went to a 60-minute time limit.
Yeah.
The third one, he beat him, but he didn't win the title. And then the fourth one was he actually hooked the leg and won the title.
Yeah.
So the storytelling of the match.
Yeah, that's why I hate a lot of matches these days, because I do understand, like, to draw a crowd in, you kind of need a gimmick, and obviously, with sort of in Britain, it's more family show style. There's not a lot of kind of, like promotions like that. Not that I'm saying there are none. There are quite a few, which obviously you can look up. But a lot of the companies that we have here are family style. So sometimes there are storylines. It's not kind of looked at as much as kind of like to that extent. But that's what I feel is missing sometimes, because if you've got a family that go to that show every single month, they're going to know what's happened, and they know the wrestlers they like, they know the wrestlers they hate. So, like, it's not all about, just buying more wrestlers, not buying, but like, it's not all about hiring more wrestlers just to come on the show. It's like, build what you have, because like, you'll build not only on your fan base, but you'll build on the loyalty that the wrestlers have for you also. That's a big thing that I think is missing a lot these days, that storytelling is just kind of, and as I said, I do respect people that can obviously, go and have like a 30-minute match and they're doing all the really cool moves, because I can't even do one, right? Let's be real, I couldn't roll about and do that. But I think storytelling is a big part of what's missing nowadays. Storytelling and promos. Promos is something I don't have. Like, I wish I had like a full camera set up, like £1,000 camera, crystal clear, good editing software, but I don't. But I do make with what I've got. But a lot of people just kind of, when they do promos, they're just kind of sitting in their house, in their living room, and you see like their sofa behind them, or their TV's on, or they're in bed or something, and it's just like, go out a walk. Like, literally, I live in a rural area, so I've got like full grassland over in one end, and I've got like, all the houses have sheds, so there's like fencing and there's backdrops everywhere.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from going out and just filming one outside. Like, change it up, make it relatable to who you are. Don't just film yourself sitting in that. Obviously, I understand with COVID that kind of had to happen, but now with things coming back, there needs to be, in my view, more effort in promos and storytelling in a big way.
Yeah, it's also hard to keep the crowd engaged for so long sometimes. That's the key, because they're like, oh, this story, okay, we're leaving. But
Yeah.
if you try to tell that story, that right story, the crowd will follow.
Oh yeah, they kind of like highlight different matches now, but obviously like a lot of places kind of do like, an open challenge, or I'm trying to think of other way. It's all kind of like that same sort of matchup. That's kind of what they kind of promote to get the eyes. And I'm not saying that doesn't work, but sometimes just kind of capturing the moment. I think one of my favourites has to be, actually, I didn't get to see it fully, but Future Shock in England, they had something for their women's championship match, and I believe it was Holly Barlow. I think she won the belt. I'm not quite sure. I believe she did win the belt at the end of the match, and then the previous champion, Lana Austin, I don't know if it was like a cash-in. I'm not fully aware, so I'm not butchering it in any way. You can go have a look. But Lana Austin came out, DDT'd Holly through the ropes, and then pinned her for the championship. And so everybody in the crowd was sort of booing, because but it was good. It made people hooked. It was something that doesn't happen often here. And it was just like, people want to come back now to be like, we hate her. She stole the championship. And that's what I feel's missing.
It's very hard to find that nowadays. So to find a really good heel to get somebody to hate, because a lot of the days the heels now are cool heels, like Kevin Owens or something like that, because they want to cheer someone. But Kevin Owens is not somebody you want to. I mean, I don't think wants to be cheered. He wants to be booed. Yeah. Because then he's doing his job. So
I love Kevin Owens so much. I don't think I could ever hate him. But that's my problem, that with a lot of crowds, I don't want to call them marks, right? Because I hate that term entirely. But obviously, when it is family shows, either you have the kids that love it, you have the parents that are dragged there by their kids, and then you have like the adult fans that are just like, the kids are obviously there to cheer the good guy, boo the bad guy, and then you'll have the sort of like older ones that are kind of like, oh, I like the bad guy, I'm going to cheer for the bad guy. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't come out, be a bad guy, shout abuse at children, but then be nice to the people cheering me, because I'd be like, I don't care if you're cheering me. I'm the bad guy. I don't care. Like, your opinion is irrelevant to me.
Exactly. Your opinion doesn't matter. Exactly. If you like me or not.
That's just my term, and that's what I think's it's exactly how I said previously. Like, I'm excited to see everyone after the show, but I am a character that is part of that promotion. So if I'm a bad guy, I'm not going to be horror. I'm not going to obviously make children cry, but I'm still going to be that character to them, and they enjoy it. They feed back on it. They'll just insult me. They try to hit me and stuff like that, but they get it. They understand it, and that's what makes them keep going with it.
You know,
Yeah,
that
really.
actually one of our buddies, he's a wrestler. He's a heel. He told us the complete opposite. Actually, he's like he would make kids cry because he's like, I don't care because the parents pay for that type of entertainment.
I think it was at CPW. There is an image of this. I think this kid was cheering for the girl I was wrestling, and I just happened to go out, and I was shouting at him. He didn't cry, but I just thought I was like making the gesture at him of like, "Oh, boo hoo! I'm gonna beat your favorite," and his dad just started laughing at him. Like, there's this girl that's just giving his son abuse, and the dad was just laughing at his son. And there is a photo. I will try and find it and post it later. And it's my favorite photo that I have because I'm just like,
You gotta send it to us.
Oh God.
yes, definitely will. I just hate it because you can't see the kid in it. It's obviously cropped.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen it. You're like this in the
and you can see the dad just laughing away, and I'm just like, that's my job.
My last question for you, because we're getting a little cutting it almost to 5 o'clock in the East Coast.
Yeah,
sorry. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In the most honest answer, I fully believe I'd be where I'm at now. Hopefully wrestling a bit more. But if I'm fully honest about myself, I don't believe I will. Obviously, I've said WWE is not a goal for me. That's not an end game. I have. Everyone does, but I have a lot of self-doubt when it comes down to it and realness. So a lot of the times I do promote myself. I obviously put myself out there, and I do obviously want to grow. I want to educate myself more than anything. My goal at the end of the day is I do want to become a trainer. That would be like my biggest dream. But obviously I wouldn't want to. Even though I feel too old, I feel like I still have years of learning to do before I get to there. It's just with that doubt, I also don't believe that, I'd be working anywhere, but it's the same that happened now. I don't know if it's released just yet. This is going to change my wee background here. Oh, it is actually just announced. But Fight for Honor Wrestling, I'm actually getting to wrestle part of their women's tournament next year, which I'm really excited for. About 2 months ago, I wouldn't believe that would be able to happen, but now, and it'll be the same in a few years' time. If you'll be like, you should ask that promotion, I'll be like, it's probably no chance. But there's no harm in asking. At the end of the day, they can say yes, they can say no. Obviously, it's fully up to them. I just hope. I don't believe that I will be, but I just hope that I've had more experiences out with my own area. Maybe America. I fully doubt in my mind, but if it happened, it would happen. Germany is obviously a big one for me as well.
London.
But just being able to wrestle in my hometown, because I was so close to getting it, I would really love that opportunity to finally get that dream to come true.
Also, you could also wrestle AEW because I believe you could also still work the indies.
Yeah, that's true.
You could get say, hey, you could follow me and sell my T-shirts, and they could look you up. You know what I mean? As a kind of a stepping stone in a way.
Yeah, it's obviously I do appreciate everybody that's gone to WWE, and obviously if that's the best fit for them. Obviously, I don't have that want to sort of move away from my life here. But I think if you told me I ever wrestled on AEW, I would laugh straight in your face. Even though I have technically wrestled a wrestler that has wrestled on AEW, the thought of me ever approaching there is, I would just laugh. I wouldn't believe it. And one day it might come true. The biggest thing for me was a few years ago, we had a Colt Cabana seminar, and he was always like, have your small dreams and your big dreams. And obviously, one of my big dreams was to wrestle in my hometown, but obviously that got taken away. But apart from that, I just, it's so cheesy and corny, and I hate it. But I just want to wrestle in order to make the fans happy. So if I don't wrestle somewhere, that's absolutely fine. I have no hard feelings. But if I get to the point I could wrestle every weekend and go out there, make fans boo me, hate me, whatever, but they're enjoying it, I would love to be at that level. No matter where I am, no matter if it's Scotland, England, Ireland, Germany, America, I would love to hopefully be at that level. Japan, but I think if you're talking about chops that would hurt, I think everything would hurt if I went to Japan.
Oh jeez!
They go crazy with the chops there. They don't care. They'll rip your chest open.
Not only the chops, the forearms are pretty stiff.
Oh yeah. But to be fair, as anybody at my training, it's not like I don't hurt anyone. Obviously, it's just when it comes to forearms and strikes, I can be like that. If anybody obviously isn't happy with that, I do ease up. But a lot of the time, I feel like, especially for myself, you don't know how to react to a move if you don't know how it feels. So, like, if you get properly forearmed, you know you're going down. You're going to sit there like, that hard. If somebody's going to hit you with a, I'll just be like, no. Like, like, no, you have to sell it. Sometimes, obviously, it's the same with taking bumps. It does hurt. But eventually, if you're in a match, you take no notice of it. You don't feel it. You're just like, okay, let's go on to the next thing. So, yeah, I get told a lot in training that I'm a lot stiffer than the boys. So when it comes to forearms, I've often been the person that has to demonstrate a forearm. But I don't think they enjoy that.
So, if we have to, we got to go. But like, would you ever want to come back?
Definitely Definitely, you've been an awesome guest. You could tell more stories and everything.
I do appreciate. Yeah, I mean, if the people want it, I wouldn't say no. I'm definitely always up for. I can talk for hours, so I definitely have more things I can share.
Don't care what they say, but we want you back because you're awesome and you're like us. Like, if we ever thought of adding a wrestler to the dudes at ringside as a host, we totally would have you as our.
I'll be your Scottish representative. That's fine.
Yes, there we go. Yes. So, just Rayhne, say goodbye to the fans.
I mean, thank you all for taking the time out of your day for spending 2 hours watching this. If you have made it this far, you obviously have nothing to do with your life, but I do appreciate that. And just have a look out for next time, and there will be just as much as talking as there will be gibberish as there was here.
Hopefully there'll be more wrestling when you come back, right?
Exactly. I might have more stories to share. I might have actually wrestled by then. Here's hoping. And if also have a look at the social media, and as we've previously said, you can go buy the t-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees and all that. So
buy them. Definitely buy the Pro Wrestling Tees.
If you want this hat that will hopefully eventually be advertised by these lovely guys here anyway, you can just message me because it's not online, but I can get them custom made. If you would like a nice hat, just putting that out there also.
There we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. So I guess till next time.
Yes, we'll plan it, Rayhne. Definitely, we'll plan. We'll find a Friday that at 3:00 that we could.
Not 2:00. Not 2:00, right, Joe?
All right. So, thank you again, Rayhne. Thank you. Many blessings and
take care. Good luck.
Thank you for having me, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks.
Thank you. That was awesome.
That was a great interview, Joe. Wow.
Awesome.
Right?
I knew it was going to be an awesome interview, but I just was like, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, that she had so many freaking stories, dude.
Right? We got to look at the calendar.
Yeah.
All right. So say goodbye to Keegan.
All right, so we'll see you guys later tonight, actually, because 10 p.m. 10 p.m. we have another show with Damien Dragon, and I'm hoping I have a big announcement to make about the show. Actually, I'm going to try to make the show a little bit to change the look of the show for next week, so be on the lookout for that. So it's a little preview just to let you guys know, and you could always follow us on http://streamlabs.com, http://dudes@ringside to donate to us. And I want to thank you guys for joining us. And Joe, say your goodbyes.
Oh, don't forget to support your local indie promotions and go on Pro Wrestling Tees and
July 17th.
T-shirts. Go buy one of Rayne's T-shirt. Pro Wrestling Tees. Go buy it now.
July 17th, Joe. Remember.
July 17th. NYWC and
Victory Pro
Wrestling both have an event. One at 1:00. The other one at 7:30. Be there. Make sure you be able to meet the Yoda Panther and freaking Metal Geek and be able to hang out and talk to us and sign some. We'll sign autographs too, even though we're not celebrities. We'll hang out.
We'll take pictures. We'll take pictures.
Babies, eat pizza, eat tacos with you in the parking lot, drink some beers. I'd like to thank my grandfather. I'd like to thank my cousin Pete Sanchez and my uncle's godfather for lighting the way for all Latino wrestlers. See you tonight for Damien Dragon at 10 p.m. Don't be late.